Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. We got the final game of this 3-game series between the Kansas City Royals and Minnesota Twins. Leading off for KC, playing left field is Damon. Batting second, playing center field is Wilson. Batting third, playing first base is Sweeney. Batting fourth, doing the catching is Perez. Batting fifth, playing right field is Collins. Batting sixth, playing shortstop is Washington. Batting seventh, playing third is BRET. Batting eighth, playing second is White. And on the mound, batting ninth, BRET SABERHAGEN. And for the hometown Minnesota Twins, leading off, playing second is Knobloch. Batting second, playing first is Carew. Batting third, playing center field is Puckett. Batting fourth, doing the catching is Meyer. Batting fifth, playing third base is Killebrew. Batting sixth, playing right field is Oliva. Batting seventh, playing left field is Bosock. Batting eighth, playing shortstop is Palanca. And on the mound, batting ninth is Jim KAAT. Let's get down here to the field and get this game started. And to lead it off for KC is Johnny Damon, batting 136 with no homers and 1 RBI. And in 1966, Jim was 25-13 with a 2.75 ERA. We got the battle of the lefties here today. Here's the pitch to Johnny. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Polanco. He fires over to first for the first out of the ball game. And Willie Wilson's up, batting 227, no homers and 1 RBI. And that's going to be a base hit in the center field. Sorry, an infield hit as that ball gets knocked down, but can't make a throw. Going up the middle. And Wilson's aboard here with 1 out. Let's see how long Willie will stay down at first. And that'll be a 34, so only a 65 or a 66 is he out, folks. And a 61, close play, but Wilson with a fine jump gets down to second on his 4th stolen base of the year, I believe. We'll take a look here. I think it's his 4th stolen base of the year. Yep, his 4th stolen base of the year. Wilson's in scoring position now for Sweeney. Runner down at second and 1 out. And Mike is batting 182 with a homer and 1 RBI. And that's going to be a fly ball out the center field. Wilson, I don't think he's going to take a chance with Puckett's arm here. 62 and a 3 is probably fielding column 2. Nick Ballard is fielding column 62. That is fielding column 2. And that will be, roll another dice here. And that will be a 20. He'll stay put. And now there's 2 outs and runner still down at second. And Perez is at the plate. And Perez is batting 364 with a homer and 3 RBIs. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. He strikes Perez out. And Jim gets out of the runner on second with nobody scoring. And we go to the bottom of the first. KC nothing. The Twins coming to bat. They'll have Knobloch, Carew, and Puckett. See the Twins' upcoming schedule. They stay here at home. Toronto comes to town for a 3-game series. Then they go on the road to take on these Kansas City Royals. Chuck Knobloch leads it off, batting 357, off to a great start with a homer and 4 RBIs. And this is BRET SABERHAGEN's first start of the year. And in 1989, second start of the year, he's 0-1 with a 2.5 ERA. And here's the BRET. pitch from Brett, and that's going to be a fly ball out to Wilson. He makes the catch for out number 1. Now Rod Carew steps up to the plate, batting 176 with no homers and 1 RBI. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. Easy play for Washington. He fires over to first for out number 2. And Kirby Puckett up to the plate now. And Puckett's batting 188 with no homers and 3 RBIs. And that's going to be a base on ball. So Puckett reaches first with 2 outs. Let's see if the 2-out walk hurts. And Joe comes to the plate. And Joe's batting 333 with no homers and 2 RBIs. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Brett strikes him out. And out to win the inning, we go to the top of the second, tied at 0-0. We got Collins, Washington, and Brett due up. Al's batting 455 with no homers and an RBI. And that's going to be against the lefty at 12. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. Polanco, nice play, just robbed Al Collins of a hit. That's 1 down. And Washington comes to the plate now. And UL is batting 333 with no homers and no RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down the Killebrew. He fires across the diamond to Carew for out number 2. And that brings up George Brett now. And Brett's batting 235 with no homers and 4 RBIs. And that's going to be a rare play. 39, 31, and a 39. And that's going to be, where's that one hit to? Down to first base. And a 53 and a 3 for the first baseman. Not very good. That's going to be fielding column 3, and that's going to be a error. Whoa, let's see. That's going to be first and second on an error. S runner stops at first. So Brett gets down the second on the E3. So now you got a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Can KC take advantage of this 2-out error here as Frank White comes to the plate? Frank's batting $125 with no homers and an RBI. Here's the pitch to Frank. And that's going to be against the lefty at 12. And they're going to take advantage of that. That's a single infield hit knocked down by Knobloch. Keeps it in the infield, saves a run. So now it's first and third. Could Brett Saberhagen help his own cause here, folks? All this coming with 2 outs, a 2-out error, a 2-base error, and now a single. And we got first and third. This is Saberhagen's 3rd at bat of the year. He's looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 2. And he's going to be 0 for 3 because that's a lazy fly ball out the Leva. And KC strands 2 to the bottom of the second we go. You got Killebrew due up, followed by Leva and Bostock. And Killebrew batting 200 on the year with a homer and 2 RBI. Excuse me, against the righty. That'll be a 20. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Wilson for out number 1. Tony Oliva steps up to the plate, batting 333 on the year with no homers and no RBI. And that's going to be against the righty. 16. That's going to be a fly ball again out to center field. So Wilson with 2 fly balls, 2 outs. They may want to hit it somewhere else. See if old Leland Bostock can do something, batting 429 with no homers and 2 RBIs. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Saberhagen strikes him out to end the inning. The top of the 3rd we go. Still no score. Got the top of the order due up here for KC. Johnny's 0 for 1, grounded out in the first. And that's going to be another ground ball right back to Jim. He fires over to Carew for out number 1. And Mr. Wilson's up. And he's 1 for 1 with a stolen base today. And he's going to be 2 for 2. He squares this one up. See where this ends up at in Minnesota. And that's going to be driven into the gap in left field. And with Wilson's speed, you know that Branod handsome man's going to end up at third with a 1-out triple. So you got a runner down at third, 1 out for Sweeney. See if he can deliver here and give KC a 1-0 lead. They're going to play back early in the game here. Don't want to give up a big inning. Sweeney flew out to center his first time up. And that's going to be a fly ball out the right field. And I'll roll another dice here. A 3. That'll be a 49. And I believe he's got a darn good arm out there. But with Wilson's speed, he's going to give it a try. I can tell you that. 49. A 66 is the only way they can get him out, folks. And he's in there with sacrifice fly. And Kansas City takes a 1-0 lead. Nice job by Sweeney to get the run in. And now there's 2 outs and nobody on for Perez in a 1-0 game. Perez is 0 for 1. He struck out in the first. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Puckett. Now it ends the inning, but the sacrifice fly gives KC a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the third. You got Polanco, old Jim, and then back to the top of the order in Chuck. You see the team comparisons. KC's 3-2, batting .209, .238 on base, a .385 slugging, and a .624 OPS. The Twins are 1-3, batting .222, .295 on base percentage, slugging .443, and an OPS of .739. Here's the pitch to Polanco, and he squares this one up. It's going to be the first base hit of the game for the Twins, and that's going to be a double in the right field. A leadoff double to start this third inning. Tying run already in scoring position, and Jim KAAT's up. Can Jim help his own cause? And in 1966, he batted .195 with 2 homers and 13 RBIs. They're going to let him swing away. They're not giving him the bunt sign. That's going to be a ground ball down the third. And a 56 and a 5. And that'll be fielding column 2. And that's going to be the runner's going to hold. He's going to fire over to first, look the runner back. And now there's 1 out, and the runner's still down at second for Chuck Knobloch. Back to the top of the order here. Chuck's 0 for 1. He flew out in the first. And that's going to be a ground ball down the first base. And the runner will get down the third. Sweeney comes up with it, fires over to BRET covering. Now the time runs 90 feet away, but now there's 2 outs for Rod Carew. Carew's 0 for 1 as Hunter joins us here. Check out his channel, folks. And Carew's 0 for 1. He grounded out the shortest first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Frank White. That'll end the inning. And we go to the top of the fourth in a 1-0 ball game. And you got Cowens due up, Washington and BRET. And the team comparisons there, Kansas City with 55 strikeouts, 8 walks, 16 doubles, 3 triples. And the Twins 40 strikeouts, 21 walks, 17 doubles, and 2 triples. Al Cowens 0 for 1, grounded out in the second. And that's going to be a fly ball out to the left for out number 1. Joe Meyer comes to the plate. I'm sorry, wrong team. And that'll be Mr. Washington comes to the plate. UL 0 for 1. He grounded out in the second. And that's going to be another ground ball. This one down to Killebrew Fires over to Carew for out number 2. And it's up to George Brett to get something going here with 2 outs. He's 0 for 1. He did reach on an error, though, his first time up. And not this time. That's a lazy fly ball out to Oliva. 1, 2, 3 goes KC. Bottom of the 4th we go. We got the big boys due up. Puckett, Joe Meyer, and Killebrew. Kirby's walked his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the UL. He's got it over to Sweeney for out number 1. And now you got Joe up. Joe's 0 for 1, struck out back in the first. And that's going to be a base on ball as he walks on down to first. Tie and run now down at first. Go ahead, run to the plate. And Killebrew. Killebrew with 1 swing and a bat here could give the Twins the lead. He is 0 for 1 today. Flew out to center. And that's going to be 2 balls and no strikes. Saberhagen's finding the plate hard to hit. And that's going to be a 42 and a 3. That'll be fielding column 2. And with holding a runner on a PR or an SA. No, he's a PL. So that's going to be a double play ball. Killebrew hits into the 3-6-3 double play, folks. Not what the Twins was looking for. That'll end the inning. Killebrew pulls that ball. Joe gets to it. Doesn't pull the ball. Joe gets to it. And that'll be the ending of the inning. And we get to the top of the 5th, still a 1-0 game. You got the bottom part of the order due up here for KC. White, Saberhagen, and then back to Damon. And Frank's 1 for 1. He singled in the second. That's going to be a fly ball out to Bostock for out number 1. And Brett Saberhagen grabs the bat. He's 0 for 1. Flew out to right his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. 52 and a 2. And that'll be fielding column 2. And that's going to be an E1. Jim makes the error. And that's the second error of the game for the Twins. Brings up Damon now with Saberhagen. His counterpart down at first reaches on an error. Johnny's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Oliva for out number 2. So we'll take a 2-out base hit. Do something. Brett's got good speed at first. Wilson's got a perfect 2 for 2 game going. He's got a single, stolen base, and a triple in this game, folks. And he keeps it up. He squares this one up again, folks. And that's going to be a single in the right field. And let's see here. Single in the right field of 49. You know, 34. And he's going to try to get down to third. 30. 56 or lower. And he's in there at third. So that's a single, and the runner gets to third. So first and third, 2 outs. KC's trying to add to this 1-run lead. And that brings up Mr. Mike Sweeney. Sweeney does have an RBI. Sacrifice flies back in the third. He's 0 for 1. And that's going to be a hit by pitch. Yep, he hits him. And that fills the bases. And Jim now bases full. Royals. Everywhere you look, you got Saberhagen at third, Wilson at second, Sweeney at first, and Perez at the plate. Perez is 0 for 2. He is struck out and flown out. He could bust this game open for KC here. And nope, that's going to be a ground ball down the second. He'll toss it over to Blanco covering, and that'll end the inning. And KC leaves the bases loaded. And it's still 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Oliva, Bostock, and Polanco due up here. Tony's 0 for 1. He flew out in the second. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. They strike him out for out number 1. And Bostock comes to the plate. And he's 0 for 1. He struck out in the second. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Sweeney. He'll take it himself for out number 2. And it's up to Polanco here to get on board. And he doubled back in the third. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. SABERHAGEN strikes him out. To the top of the 6th we go. A 1-0 KC lead. You got Collins, Washington, and BRET due up. Al 0 for 2 today. And he's going to be 0 for 3. That's an easy grounder down the short for out number 1. And Washington comes up to the plate. He's grounded out the third both times. He's 0 for 2. And he hits it the other way, this time down the second. And Knobloch's got it for out number 2. And that brings up George Brett now. And George is 0 for 2. He did reach on an error in the second, though. And that's going to be a 9 against a 27. And that's going to be a ground ball back to Jim. He fields his position, fires over to first. 1, 2, 3 goes KC to the bottom of the 6th. Jim's due up, followed by Knobloch and Carew. Jim's 0 for 1 today. And that's a swing and a miss. BRET strikes him out. That's SABERHAGEN's 5th strikeout of the game. Back to the top of the order and Knobloch. He was 0 for 2. Flown out and grounded out. And that's going to be a against the righty, 21. That's going to be a fly ball out to Al Collins and right for out number 2. And Rod Carew comes to the plate now. And he's 0 for 2 with 2 grounders. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. That one gets by Frank White. And there you go, Carew with a 2-out single. Runner down at first and 2 outs for Kirby Puckett. He was 0 for 1. He walked in the first. And that's going to be a ground ball down the first. Sweeney makes the play himself for out number 3. And Joe Meyer comes to Frank White, BRET SABERHAGEN, and Johnny Damon due up here in the top of the 7th. Frank is 1 for 2, singled in the second. And that's going to be a base on balls. And they're going to send BRET up here to try to lay down a nice bunt, get him over into scoring position. SABERHAGEN's 0 for 2 today. He did reach on an error back in the 5th. All righty, and here's the pitch to BRET. And that's going to be a 21. And first and second on air. Runner to third if he's fast, and he is. So that's going to get the runner down the third. That's going to be a E1 as Carew makes an E3 as Carew makes an error. And that's the 3rd error of the game by these top Twins. See how costly this one is. So now you got first and third. You got an E3 runner on first, 2 bases. So now first and third, nobody out. And they're going to have to bring the infield in. Johnny Damon at the plate. Try to cut this run off because they haven't shown they've been able to score. So Johnny's 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and flown out. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short with the infield in, a 53 and an 8. That might make it through, folks, for a 53 and an 8. Will be column number 3. And that's going to be a single in the left. And the runner's going to get the third. So a single. And SABERHAGEN gets down the third. So it's still first and third. Now it's a 2-0 ball game. And Wilson comes to the plate. Let's see here. Damon might be taking off here, folks. And he is. He's going to try to take off and get in scoring position. 32. And that'll be a 62 or lower for Damon. And he's in there with a stolen base. So now you got a runners in second and third. And nobody out. And the infield comes in again. Second and third. And Wilson, who is on fire, folks. He is 3 for 3 today. He's got a triple and 2 singles. Here's the pitch to Wilson. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. And the infield in there, it might be another base hit. 9, 46 and a 9. And that'll be fielding column 1 with the infield in. And that's still going to be a single in the center field. And first and third, folks, as they're just nickel and diming them to death here. As Wilson's perfect 4 for 4 today. And now you got Sweeney up with runners on first and third. And a 3-0 ball game. And Jim's in a heap of trouble. And the bullpen's getting up in a hurry now. And they're going to play back for the double play ball here. As Mike Sweeney's up, he's 0 for 1. He did have a sacrifice fly and has been hit by a pitch. And that's going to be the double play ball they was looking for, but the runner is going to score. It's going to be the old 6-4-3 double play. No RBI, but it makes it a 4-0 ball game. Oh, there's nobody on. And 2 outs for Perez. And Perez is 0 for 3. He is struck out, flown out, and grounded into a fielder's choice. And here's the pitch to Perez. And that's a swing and a miss. But KC scores 3, takes a 4-0 lead into the 7th inning stretch as Legend Sports Universe joins us, folks. Check out Legend's great channel, folks. You got the heart of the lineup due up here for the Twins, down by 4. Joe Meyer, Harmon Killebrew, and Tony Oliva. Joe is 0 for 1. He did walk back in the 4th. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Wilson. He tracks it down for out number 1. And Harmon Killebrew's up now. Killebrew's 0 for 2. He's flown out and grounded out. Not this time. He drives this ball down the third baseline. Killebrew's got himself a double here with 1 out. So Killebrew down at second. Tony Oliva comes to the plate. That's only the 3rd hit of the ball game for the Twins. Tony's 0 for 2. He has flown out and struck out. Can Tony keep this going for the Twins? And that's going to be a base on balls. BRET starting to struggle here. That'll get the Kansas City bullpen up. So you got Bostock up now. First and second, and still only 1 out. Looking for the double play ball. Lehman is 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded out. And that's going to be a ground ball down the first. And that's just what the doctor ordered, folks. Let's see if he bats left. Safe at first. So he does bat left, so it won't be the double play. They'll just get the out at second. So now you got first and third and 2 down as Bostock was able to beat the relay. Nice job by him hustling down there. And Polanco's up 1 for 2 with a double and a strikeout today. And that's going to be against a righty, 17. And that's going to be a base hit in the left field. Killebrew's going to score. And they get on the board here, folks. And Bostock will stop at second. That'll be it for Jim. First and second in a 4-1 ball game. Jim comes out. We'll have a pitch hitter for him. See who's going to come off the bench here. And this might be SABERHAGEN's last batter one way or the other here. Let's see who they're going to bring out here.
Morneau.
Justin Morneau is going to come off the bench. See if Justin can blast one here. So Justin's going to come off the bench. And this is Justin's first plate appearance of the year. In 2006, he batted .321, 34 homers, 130 RBIs. And here's the pitch from SABERHAGEN. And that ball is high. How far is this one going to travel, folks? 18. And that ball is ripped in the right field. And he's going to run for a while. And that's a 2-out triple, folks. Makes it a 1-run ball game. And just like that, it's a 4-3 game. SABERHAGEN was cruising through 6. Let's see here. That might be it for BRET. And that's going to be, let's see who's going to come out of the bullpen here. And Quisenberry's going to come out of the bullpen. So Dan Quisenberry comes out. He's going to try to keep this a 1-run game. SABERHAGEN having an easy go of it until the 7th inning, and the wheels are coming off the cart. So Quisenberry trying to get out of this mess. This is his second appearance of the year, and he has no record in a 9 ERA. See if Quisenberry can do the job here and get one out. So runner down at third. Chuck Knobloch is 0 for 3 today. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Quiz does his job. But KC scores 3, makes it a 1-run game as we go to the top of the 8th. Let's see who's going to come out of the bullpen here for the Twins. Got the righty, a switch hitty, and a lefty. Perkins is the only lefty they got in the bullpen. Let's see here if Perkins is going to come out of the bullpen. Yep. Glenn Perkins is going to come out of the bullpen and pitch to these. Like I say, he's got a righty, a switch hitter, and a lefty due up. And Perkins, this is his second appearance of the year. No record and no ERA. And he'll be facing Al Cowens, Washington, and BRET. Cowens is 0 for 3 today. And that's a base on balls, not what you want to see. After scoring 3 runs, the Twins give up a leadoff walk. And you can see Kansas City 3-2 with 15 runs, 7 homers, 6 stolen bases been caught once. The Twins 17 runs, 4 homers, 1 stolen base been caught once. And Al's down at first with nobody out for UL Washington, who's 0 for 3 today. And here's the pitch to Washington. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. 32-2 should be fielding column 1. And it is. That's going to be a single up the middle. And a runner's going to stop at second. So Washington with the single. And Glenn Perkins definitely isn't the answer today, folks. Now he's got George Brett up first and second. Nobody out. Brett's 0 for 3. Reached on an error in the second. Here's the pitch to George. And that's going to be against the lefty. 29 and an 8. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. Actually, it's going to be a line drive. The runners are going to hold. Nope, that's a K. He's got the old K. Strikes out Brett for out number 1. And that brings up Frank White now. And Frank's 1 for 2. He singled back in the second, walked and came around the score in the 7th. And that's what the doctor ordered if you're a Twins fan, folks. That's a ground ball down the second, knob block up with it. Over to Polanco, over to Carew. 6-4-3 double play. Gets them out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th with Carew, Puckett, and Joe due up here. Let's see if Quisenberry stays in the game here. They got a lefty. Steve's in the bullpen. Let's see here. They want to bring in Steve, or he's the only lefty they got. Let's see here. And they are going to bring in Steve just to pitch this 8th inning. They're not going to do a double switch here. Going to leave Frank White in the game. So Quisenberry comes out. Steve's going to come in. And he'll pitch to the lefty, the righty, and then a lefty. And Carew is 1 for 3 today. He singled back in the 6th. Here's the pitch to Rod Carew, and he gets a hold of this. Oh, where's this one going to land at, folks? And that's going to be driven into left field. He goes the other way, and Carew's rounding second, headed for third with a lead-off triple. And that's going to force Kansas City to bring the infield in. So a runner down at third, a tying run 90 feet away with nobody out. And Kirby Puckett's up. He's 0 for 2. He walked back in the first. And that's going to be against the lefty, 12. And that's going to be a single in the left field. And we got us a tie ball game, folks. And Steve can't get the job done. Now there's one on at first. Still nobody out. And up to the plate's Joe Meyer. And Joe's 0 for 2. He did walk back in the 4th. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. 22 and a 1 is probably fielding column 2. And it is. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. He's going to spin, throw down the second, get the lead runner. So now there's 1 out and a runner at first. Is Joe with Mr. Killebrew is up. He's 1 for 3. He doubled and came around to score in the 7th. And that ball is hit hard. How far is this one going to go? Another triple, folks. That's going to be a triple in the left field. Killebrew gives the Twins the lead here. Steve is getting lit up. Don't let him pitch to Oliva here, the lefty. But now you got a runner down at third. 1 out. And Oliva is 0 for 2. He walked in the 7th as D. Scott Howard joins us, folks. And that's going to be a big swing and a miss. Strikes out Tony for out number 2. And Lehman's up now. He's 0 for 3. He has struck out, grounded out twice. And that's going to be against the lefty. 22 and a 9. And that's going to be a pop-up in the shallow left field, center field. Mookie comes in, makes the catch. Wilson comes in and makes the catch for out number 3. But the Twins score 2, take a 5-4 lead into the top of the 9th. And Joe Nathan's going to come out of the bullpen, try to nail this game down, folks. So Joe Nathan comes in with a 1-run lead. He'll have a pitch hitter for Steven in the top of the order. And this is Nathan's first appearance of the year. In 2008, he was 1-2 with 39 saves and a 1.32 ERA. Let's see who's going to come out of the dugout here and pitch hit against the righty. Trailing by 1. And it's going to be John Mayberry. He's going to come off the bench. See if he can get aboard here. Get the tying run on. Get the winning run to the plate. And John is looking for his first base hit of the year. He is 0 for 8, folks. And he's going to be 0 for 9 as Joe Nathan strikes him out for out number 1 here in the top of the 9th. We go back to the top of the order now in Damon and Wilson. And Johnny is 1 for 4. He's got an RBI. He has scored and stolen a base. All that came in the 7th inning here. And that's going to be against the righty, 26. It's going to be a ground ball down the short. And the Twins are 1 out away from winning this game. It's up to Wilson to keep this game alive. And that's the man you want up if you're a Kansas City Royals fan. He is 4 for 4. He's got a triple, an RBI, a stolen base. Here's the pitch to Wilson. And that's going to be a base hit, I believe, against the righty, 28. And yep, that is going to be a base hit, an infield hit. Wilson's aboard here, folks. Tying run down at first. And you know Wilson's not going to stay put. Let's see if Wilson can get down the second. It'll be only a 66 can get him out, folks. And he's down at second with his second stolen base of the game. So Wilson down at second. And does he want to try to steal third? That is the question. Does he want to try to steal third? He can do it. He is a C with 2 outs. 2 outs and behind by 1 run or tied or ahead by 1 run. So does he want to try to steal third? That is the question. Does he want to try to steal third? Let's think this over. You got Sweeney at the plate here. Let's see here, folks. Still trying to figure out whether to steal him or not. Should we take a chance here? That is the question. We're not. We're going to let him down there at second. We pondered this long enough. So Sweeney's going to swing away. He's 0 for 2. He does have a sacrifice fly. 2 outs, runner in scoring position, trailing by 1. Here's the pitch. And that ball is high. Good thing we didn't try to steal. See how far this one goes. Against the 26. That ball is off the wall. Just missed the homer. Sweeney ties this ball game up. Joe Nathan didn't quite groove it, folks, but that ball is off the wall out there in left field. And a RBI double for Mike Sweeney ties the game up. Joe Nathan blows the save. He could still lose his game. Now you got Perez up. Perez is 0 for 4. Can he deliver here? Sweeney doesn't have great speed down there at second. And that's going to be a 42. That's going to be a hit by pitch. And that looks like some frustration by Joe Nathan. And Kansas City is not happy at all. Second now. And can Al Cowens make Nathan pay for the hit by pitch? He is 0 for 3. He is grounded out twice. Flew out and walked back in the 8th. And that's going to do it for this inning. That's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. He's going to fire over to first to end the inning. But the 2-run, the double by Sweeney ties this game up. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Let's see who's going to come out here. And it's going to be Montgomery's going to come out of the bullpen. Try to keep this a tie ball game and send it into extra innings. Let's see if we want to do a double switch here. Let's see here. Hate to make the defense worse in a tie ball game because you got Tartable and bring out. But we're not going to do a double switch. Montgomery's going to come in the game. Batting a 9 spot. And this is Montgomery's 3rd appearance. He's got a save with no ERA. He's got Polanco, a pitch hitter for Nathan, and then Knobloch due up here in the bottom of the 9th. And Polanco's 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI in this game. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Montgomery walks the go-ahead run and winning run down the first. That'll be it for Nathan as he blows the save in the top of the 9th. He's going to come off the bench here. They already used their one lefty. And I think Larry's going to come off the bench. Larry Heisel with one swing and a bat. Can he deliver here? Give the Twins the win. And Larry's batting 100 this year with no homers and no RBIs. And that's going to be against the righty. Uh, 8 against a 24. And that's going to be a ground ball down the 3rd. And that might just be the old round the horn. It is. It's going to be the old 5-4-3 double play. Nice play by BRET to start this. And that's 2 outs and now nobody on. The pitcher's best friend just came through there. Now you got Chuck Knobloch up with nobody on. He's 0 for 4 today. And that's going to be a lazy fly ball out the center. He's 0 for 5. Wilson makes the catch and read all about it. Extra innings we go. Now he's going to come out here and pitch for the Twins. And Doug Corbett's going to come out of the bullpen. Try to keep this a tie ball game. And this is Corbett's second appearance of the year. He's 0-1 with a 9 ERA. He's got Washington, BRET, and White due up. UL's 1 for 4. He singled back in the 8th. And that's going to be a rare play, a 63 and a 39. And that's going to be strike 1. So here's the 0-1 pitch. Can Washington do something with an 0-1 pitch? And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. Polanco bobbles it, comes up, decides not to compound it by throwing it. Washington's aboard here with an error. So UL's down at first, nobody out. And will he take off and run? That is the question. That will be a 30, and he is going to try to steal and get in the scoring position. That's how Kansas City plays, folks. And that's going to be a 56 or lower. He's safe. And they throw him out. Joe throws him out. Unbelievable. Now there's 1 out and nobody on for BRET. So George is 0 for 4 today. He did reach on an error back in the second. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, out number 2. And Frank White grabs a bat. And Frank's 1 for 3. He singled and walked in the game. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Corbett strikes him out. So the leadoff walk doesn't hurt him after getting thrown out. We go to the bottom of the 10th, still 5-5. You got Carew, Puckett, and Joe. 2, 3, 4 hitters up here against Montgomery. Carew's having a fine game. He's 2 for 4 with a triple. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Frank White. He tosses it over to first for out number 1. Wait a second. That might have been a swing and a miss. Let's see the K. Nope, it's a ground ball. Got it right. And now you got Kirby Puckett up. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI back in the 8th inning. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Montgomery strikes Puckett out for out number 2. So it's up to Joe here to try to win this game. He's 0 for 3 today. He did walk back in the 4th. And that's going to be a ground ball down to George. Over to Sweeney. 1, 2, 3 goes to Twins. To the 11th inning we go. That's going to be it for Montgomery. We'll have a pitch hitter for him. So Montgomery comes out of the game. See who's going to come out and pitch hit here. And it's going to be Danny Tartable who's going to come out of the dugout. 1 swing and a bat. He could give the Twins the lead here, folks. So Danny Tartable comes out of the dugout. And Tartable is batting 125 on the year. No homers and no RBIs. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Doug strikes him out for out number 1. And that brings us back to the top of the order. And Johnny Damon, who's 1 for 5. He singled, stole a base, and came around to score in the 7th. And that's going to be a ground ball down to short. Polanco fires over to Carew for 2 quick outs. And Ken the man, Kansas City is 5 for 5. Willie Wilson batting .370 on the year. He's got a triple, an RBI, and 2 stolen bases. And 62, and they finally get him out. Doug strikes him out, and we're going to the bottom of the 11th, 5-5. Let's see, Al Holland's going to come out of the bullpen, or Greg Allen, rather. Greg Holland going to come out of the bullpen and see if he can keep this game tied. There's only 1 reliever left in that bullpen now, and that is Mr. Davis, Wade Davis. So where's Holland at? There he is. And he'll be facing Killebrew, Oliva, And Bo Sox here in the bottom of the 11th. And Killebrew's 2 for 4. He's got a double and a triple. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. He's out of there on strikes. And now Tony Oliva's up. And Tony's 0 for 3. He did walk back in the 7th. And he gets a hold of this. He hits that ball hard. Where's this one going to land at, folks? Against the righty at 22. And that's going to be a hit in the right field. Al Cowens gets over there quickly, holds him to a single. Nice play by Cowens. So that ball got out there in a hurry, and Al gets to it. So Oliva down at first with 1 out. And Bo Sox up. And Lehman's 0 for 4 today. And he's going to be 0 for 5. That's a ground ball down the short. A 5 and a 64. Down the third, rather. 64. That'll be fielding column 3 with 1 out. And the only play will be, nope, that's a swing and a miss. He strikes him out. So he strikes him out. Runner still at first now with 2 outs, and Polanco's up. And he is 2 for 3, having a fine game. He's walked, he's doubled, drove in a run back in the 7th on a single. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. Greg's up with it, fires over to first, and that ends the inning. And we go to the top of the 12th. We got Sweeney due up, Perez and Cowens. Doug Corbin out here for his 3rd inning. Mike Sweeney is 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs on the day. And that's a base on balls. So, go ahead runs down at first. And Mr. Perez is up. And they're going to do a little hit and run here with Perez. Try to stay out of the double play. Here's the pitch to Perez. And that's going to be a ground ball down the 3rd. And that's going to stay out of the double play with the hit and run. That'll be a 5-3 put out. The runner will get down the 2nd with 1 out. And Al Cowens up. And do they want to walk out Cowens to set up the double play ball? They're going to pitch to him. Cowens is 0 for 4. He did walk back in the 8th. And that's going to be a 9 against a 21. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. And the runner will get down the 3rd on the 1-3 put out. So the go-ahead run is down at 3rd with 2 outs, and UL Washington's up. He is 1 for 5. He singled back in the 8th. Can he deliver here? He did reach on an error in the 10th. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Doug strikes him out with the go-ahead run down at 3rd. To the bottom of the 12th we go. And a 5-5 ball game. And now we're going to have a pitch hitter here for Corbett. And let's see who's going to come out of the dugout here. And Torrey Hunter's going to come out of the dugout. Grab a bat against Holland here. And Hunter is batting .167 on the year. No homers and no RBIs. And that ball is high. That ball is far. How far is this one going to go, folks? And that ball is out of here. Torrey Hunter with a pitch hit homer. Sends these fans home happy. Torrey Hunter delivers, folks, with a pitch hit homer. And the Twins win in 12 innings, 6-5. What a ball game. Let's take a look here at the box score. And the Twins had 4 errors and still won the game with a walk-off win. That's what the star is about. So the Twins on 6 runs on 10 hits and 4 errors. Kansas City 5 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Look at Wilson. What a game Wilson had in the losing cause. 5 for 6, folks. He was the only Royal with multiple hits. 5 for 6. Kansas City was 5 for 14 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 men on base, had their opportunities, folks. Rod Carew was 2 for 5. Killebrew was 2 for 5. Polanco was 2 for 4. And the Twins were 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Of course, the big homer by Hunter. You had 3 triples hit by the Twins. Carew, Killebrew, and Justin Morneau. Twins left 6 men on base. SABERHAGEN with a no decision, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, walked 3, struck out 5. Quisenberry a third of an inning, 1 strikeout. Steve an inning, 3 hits, 2 runs, and a strikeout. Montgomery 2 innings, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Holland gets the loss. He goes to 0-1. 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 strikeouts, and a homer. Jim KAAT goes 7 innings of no decisions, 6 hits, 4 runs, only 1 of them earned. Walked 2, struck out 2. Perkins pitched 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Nathan comes in, blows the save, 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 strikeout. Doug Corbett goes 3 innings, picks up his first win. He's 1-1 with 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. And now let's take a look at the American League leaders and standings. The Yankees are 2 games up on Baltimore, Boston, and Toronto. Tampa Bay is 2.5 games back. The Tigers are a half a game up on the Indians. Kansas City's a game back. The Twins a game and a half. And Chicago White Sox 2 games back. Now West Texas is a game up on Seattle, 2 up on Oakland, and the Angels are 2.5 games back. Curtis Granderson with his .545 average leading the American League. And you got 2 Indians tied with 4 home runs, Ramirez and Tomey leading the American League with 8 homers. ERA leader still at 0, and right now the wins are 1 apiece. The save leaders is Hiller and Mariano Rivera with 2. And Jim Tomey's leading in MVP voting, and Jim Palmer's leading in the Cy Young. I want to thank D. Scott Howard, Legend Sports Universe, and Hunter for joining us here today. The next game we'll have on the channel will be in a National League game. Let's see what game that'll be. And it'll be the... Looks like it's going to be the Brewers against the Marlins. I don't know if that pitching matchup's right or not. It says Sheets against Alvarez. Let's see how many game series this is. 1, 2, 3. It's a 4-game series. I don't think it's a 5-game series, but we'll check. Nope, it'll be a 4-game series. So check that out. That'll be the next game on the channel, folks. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for reminders, and on your way out, hit that like button. Till next time, y'all have a great day and take care.